Sponsored by Buena Vida Pizzeria. Come get a slice of the good life. Mention this ad and get happy hour drink prices all night.
Come to order. Welcome to the March 3rd, 2015 meeting. Roll call vote done.
Mayor Borusky?
Here.
Member Neary?
Yes, ma'am.
Member Burns?
Here.
Member Tucker?
Here.
Member Baker?
Yes, ma'am.
Member Gifford?
Here.
Member Lynn?
Here.
City Administrator Gifford?
Here.
All rise for prayer. Remember Jack Fisher in your prayers, if you would, please. Pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Start with the mayor's report. At this time, I'll appoint the following people. Don Redley to the Park Board. These are all Park Board people. Expiration date is December of 2016. Alan Hare, expiration date 2016. Linda Gifford, expiration date 2016. Brian Frohmeyer, expiration date 2015. Craig Cornett, expiration date of 2015. We have an auxiliary board. Brian Dupickle, expiration date 2016. Mindy Metz, 2016, and Nancy Martin, 2016. The auxiliary board are members that are on the board, but they just don't vote. And the other thing I got is what Jack was working on with Kathy. It's a little library, and Donna looked in that for us since Jack was gone. Donna, what do you got on there?
Okay. After the last council meeting, I was asked to look into the little libraries, and I've been talking with J.C. Morgan, the library director. And on Friday, he told me we've already had 11 people sign up, but he would like approval from council before the program starts in Dayton. And by signing up, there's a $10 fee, and they receive one fully built library. He said it's a base unit, it's bare wood, and it needs to be painted. It'll hold about 20 to 30 books, and it has a plexiglass window. And then they'll receive a starter kit of books to go along with the library. And once you receive the library, if you want, they can begin decorating it. And there's going to be a big kickoff for the little libraries on April 17th, 6 p.m. at the Newport branch. And one of the judges at the little library will be Mr. Burns. But all they're doing is waiting for us, for council to make approval. But there is some guidelines, which I believe Michael's familiar with.
So Jack was working on a set of guidelines for the project. As y'all may have noticed, we have a gentleman here representing us tonight by the name of Tom Edge, his attorney with Steve Francis' office. Steve Francis and his office have volunteered to step in on the interim basis to help us while we cope with the difficult loss of Jack Fisher. Obviously, they're impossible shoes to fill, but we must move on, and Tom has graciously agreed to be here tonight on our behalf. And Tom and I will work. He's just now kind of getting brought up to speed on some of these things. This is one of the issues. Jack was working on drafting a set of guidelines similar to what other cities have done. So right now it's just a matter of making Tom aware of what those guidelines will be, and he and I will work together over the next couple of weeks to get those finalized. So what we're really looking for tonight is just to make sure that the council doesn't have any issues with the project in general. As I said, the guidelines we're drawing up mimic what other cities are doing too, so it's nothing too radical. They would just like to know where we kind of stand on it, so they know that we're going to move forward with it. So the guidelines are in the process, but they will match up with other cities, so you can rest assured that I'll have Tom take a look at them, and he'll come back with any comments.
Thank you. Dave, you got something, a presentation?
Yes, real quickly. The police department is working on a tip line, which it's for smartphones only. It's called Centiguard. Centiguard, we can use it for iPhone or Android. What a citizen would do, we have flyers here you can come pick up at the end of the meeting. You go in, you can sign in, put your emails in if you want to. You can remain anonymous if you wish. But basically it's tips that the police department gets. So if you have a tip that there's some suspicious drug activity at an address on 6th Avenue, you can actually type in on your phone, you can type in the activity it is, and I'll go through a quick PowerPoint on it and describe where it is so we can address it and remain anonymous. Because a lot of people don't like to bring drug activity to the police department because they don't want to be involved. A lot of people like to not even be seen near the police department. So this is a tip or a tool we can use to help us kind of get around that. So just quickly, if you have an emergency, obviously it gives you a prompt. This is a tutorial that they put out. Obviously call 911. If it's not an emergency, you can continue. We're working on this part right now. Initiate a live video conference call with law enforcement officials. That is not up yet. Centiguard is still working on it. And it is something, this is a free app or a free program for the police department, but the live streaming for the police would come at cost later on down the road. So we have this actually for a year. So we'll be able to try this out and just see how it works. You can create a detailed non-anonymous report to law enforcement if you just, say this is, Barry from 7th Avenue, I have this problem here with a neighbor, and you can text that to instead of coming into the police department. Again, these are the options. You can do a video, take a photo of criminal activity, or describe what the criminal activity is in the prompt below in the description. Choosing the type of crime you want. Obviously there's assault if you want to make a child abuse claim, elder abuse, domestic violence, drugs, homicide, well obviously that would be a 911 call, animal abuse, robbery, sex offense, bullying, police misconduct, bribery, vehicle theft, vandalism, auto accidents, civil rights, arson, and other. Those are listed under what kind of crime reports you want to complain about. You can touch the screen and mark the location where the crime took place. Provide a brief description of the crime. Try to be, I'm not sure how many characters you can fit in that box, but I think it's pretty many. So just try and be clear as possible. Once you've submitted the report, you can either, if you wish to share it, you can. You have that option to share it on Twitter or Facebook. It's up to you. It seems to be popular. Tap to submit your non-anonymous crime report. Just submit it, and it will go directly to the police department. We are set up with Centiguard that it is set up with us where it goes into our emails. They're trying to get it now where they're trying to get it directly phone to phone. They're working that bug out right now. Send an anonymous tip. Same way. It's completely anonymous, no information beyond that of the crime will be stored or sent. They don't keep storage of it, so even though you put anonymous on there, it's not going to tell us who it came from. And we've already received a couple tips already, just word them out, getting this out this week. We've already received a couple tips and it came in anonymous, so we have no idea who sent that in. And then submit it, and it comes to the police department. So that is a quick tutorial of that. It is up and running, so you guys explore, try it out, play with it, what you can. And I'll leave these here for after the meeting. You guys can come pick them up. And if you have any questions after the meeting, I'll try to answer them as best I can. So that's what I had with Centiguard. Other than that, very, very happy with the activity. The police department, I've been very active, arresting a lot of heroin users, addicts, traffickers. It shows in our monthly report, which we posted on Facebook. You should be able to see that, how the department's been, their activity's been for the month. So you can compare it to January, and it's pretty obvious, the activity boost. So very proactive, So happy to say that.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Mayor, I believe we were to make a motion to accept the Donna's work for the little libraries.
No, you said that they're going to review it, and you said they were going to review it and bring it back the next day.
We're going to review first, or can we make a motion?
Well, he would kind of just like the motion that we
Moving
want to
in that
do it,
direction.
and I can let him know that tomorrow.
I'd like to make the motion that we continue our investigation, thank you, into the little library program for Dayton.
Motion by
Second.
second by Denny. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll go from there. We'll go into the city administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, I'd like to welcome Tom Edge, and want to thank him publicly, obviously, for his help over the last couple of weeks and helping us through some things that we're kind of in the middle of working on. So I appreciate it, Tom. Just to kind of give everybody an overview, the mayor and I have sought the experience or expertise of some of Jack's closest colleagues for a list of recommendations that would be good fit for the city attorney position in Dayton. So over the next week or so, Virgil and I are going to set up those appointments and start to meet. And at the next council meeting, we'll be able to bring forth an appointment of a new city attorney. We'll hopefully fill it in the next couple of weeks and then bring it to the city council at the following meeting. So just kind of an update on where that stands. Some order of business that I'd like to take care of. I've got, if you recall, last council meeting, we issued an order declaring certain public property surplus from the police department and the public works department. We placed an ad in the paper requesting if anyone was interested to obtain a copy of the list, and if they were interested in any of the items, they could submit a sealed bid for any of the particular items. We only received one bid, and it was for the 2000 GMC pickup truck, which was part of the public works fleet, currently at Silver Grove Motors. The applicant, or the bidder, was Herman Aikman, who obviously is an employee with the city. He bid $700, and because we didn't receive any other bids, and because that is compared to what we could scrap it for, a fair offer, I'd like to ask for a motion to accept that bid.
So moved.
Motion by Jerry,
Second.
second by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Thank you. I want to apologize to the city council. I gave you all a bid from Monitor Closely last week in your council packet. I wanted to request that that bid be accepted, but I do want to hold off on that for a couple reasons, just to kind of run down. We advertised for bid for our Homeland Security grant that the city of Bellevue and Dayton received. It's for $50,000 per city for the installation of some high-definition cameras that are interactive with the police department. We only had one bid, and that was from Monitor Closely. But before I ask for that bid to be accepted, I do want to consult. Jack Fisher and I had discussed it a little bit, but I want to consult with whoever we decide to go forward with to make sure that they read the acceptance letter and agree that the bid is in conformance with that grant. So you do have that information, but I am going to hold off on that until next meeting. So just to kind of update on where we stand in the office, we've been interviewing over the last 3 weeks for 2 positions, a code director and for an assistant city clerk treasurer. I'm happy to announce that we extended an offer to Annie Woostfield for the code director position. Rose and I are both very excited about this hire. We were excited that she accepted our offer. She's very code oriented and has been in codes for almost 20 years in code enforcement. It's her passion. So I think she'll bring kind of a hard-nosed grind to that job that I think we all agree is beneficial to the city. So I'm excited for that. In the clerk's position, the assistant clerk treasurer position, we probably got over 200 applications, no joke, for that position. So it was a job in and of itself, just reviewing applications. We're going to narrow it down to 4 candidates for second interviews this week, and we'd like to make a decision on that position by Friday. So Annie Woostfield is scheduled to start next Wednesday, I believe it's March 11th. And pending who we pick for the clerk's application and pending what they need to get their current employer, that start date will be to be determined, but that offer will be coming soon. So on behalf of that, I don't know if the mayor wants to appoint or ask council for the appointment of Manny Wusterfield, his hire, with the approval of council.
Sure. I need a motion to approve the hiring of Annie
Wusterfield?
Wusterfield.
Do we have a resume or anything for this person? I think it's a little bit unfair to ask council to approve or deny without, I mean, it's your decision, your and Michael's decision technically. So to put it on council to approve it without knowing the person would be difficult. I don't think it requires a motion of council.
Does it? No, it don't require a motion, so she's...
I appreciate that you want us to, but not having been on the interviews, I don't think it's fair.
Good enough. Thank you. She's hired.
Good, and that's all I have.
Michael, can I ask you a question on this bid you gave us for the cameras?
Sure.
That was by the Department of Homeland Security, correct?
Who we got the grant from?
Yes.
That's correct.
With the fiasco that's happening in Washington now, the Homeland Security may be getting shut down, is that grant still good or not good?
Yeah, no, I have not received any indication that it's not good. The funds have already been allocated for the particular project. I'll reach out, for double check, but we've worked very closely with them, the chief as well.
Yeah, they would have notified us if there was any.
I'm just concerned that,
problems with it,
we
so.
get a $50,000 bid and all of a sudden the grant's canceled.
Right.
The other question I have is, will these cameras, Dave, be able to, can you use them for the prosecution and of the people because with the clarity, I know we got some cameras out here now and that you couldn't use them for the clarity, so will they be able to, for arrest?
Yes,
And prosecution?
they will be available if they take place in these areas. Like I said, at first, they were put in certain areas which did not fall under Homeland Security.
Right.
Basically, what you have to do is put it towards the infrastructure of the city, which will be along the flood wall, the water tank that we have up there off of Dayton Avenue, by the schools, by the power plants down along, kind of by the YMCA and stuff like that. So
Personally, I don't want to know where the cameras go.
Right.
And I don't
Well,
want,
it's for
I don't want our drug activity
Right.
constituents to know about it.
Right.
And also, Michael, in the bid, it said that Bellevue's a bucket truck was going to be used. Is there something wrong with our bucket truck?
No, I noticed that as well, and I think it was just a misassumption.
Okay.
They probably didn't know that we had one, so
That's
ours is
fine.
fully functional, yeah.
That's fine, thank you.
That's all I have, thank you.
Thank you. Consent agenda minutes from the January 6th, 2015 meeting. Need approval of them.
So moved.
I'll second. Jerry. Seconded by Joey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Orders and ordinance and orders. Order 2015-3 agreement with the Campbell County Fiscal Court regarding funding to resurface various streets.
City of Dayton, Kentucky, 2015 3R. A resolution authorizing execution of a memorandum of agreement, MOA, between the Campbell County Fiscal Court and the City of Dayton regarding funding for resurfacing of various streets within the City of Dayton. Be it ordered by the City of Dayton, Campbell County, Kentucky, any and all street resurfacing completed as a result of the attached MOA will be on municipal-owned streets that are part of the City of Dayton Street Maintenance Program, and the City of Dayton does hereby ratify and adopt all statements and representations contained in the MOA, and the mayor of the City of Dayton is hereby authorized to direct to sign said MOA as set forth on behalf of the City of Dayton, and the clerk of the City of Dayton is hereby authorized and directed to certify thereto.
Need a motion?
Make a motion, we adopt 2015 3R.
Motion by Bill,
Second.
second by Jenny. Roll call vote, Don.
Member Lynn?
Aye.
Member Neary?
Aye.
Member Burns?
Aye.
Member Tucker?
Aye.
Member Baker?
Yes, ma'am.
Member Gifford?
So carried. Second, first reading of ordinance 2015-1, setting forth compensating and the number of authorized physicians. First reading.
City of Dayton, Kentucky, 2015, number 1. An ordinance amending ordinance 2014, number 16, setting forth compensation and number of authorized physician for employees under the Dayton Job Classification System. Ordinance in conflict repealed. This ordinance sets forth employees' position, the salary range thereof, exclusive of overtime as mandated by law, and the number of authorized position. It amends A, to add another police sergeant and 2 police officers. B, to eliminate a police captain, police corporal, and part-time patrol officers. I, Tom Edge, an attorney licensed to practice law in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, do hereby certify that this summary was prepared by me at the direction of the Council of the City of Dayton, and that said summary is true and accurate summary of the contents of the ordinance. That's the first reading.
Department head report. Dave, you got anything else?
No, that's
Okay,
pretty much
good.
what I touched on.
Fire chief?
Good evening, Mayor and
Good evening.
We had a fire board meeting last week, and I was asked to put together a 5-year strategic plan, which I did. The board reviewed it and called for a second special meeting, which was held last night in Bellevue Callahan Center. They wanted me to prioritize the needs that I feel the fire department will need in the next 5 to 10 years. And with doing that, I prioritized number 1 would be our monitors and defibrillators. They're 7 years old, and we found out that we no longer can update the software for the monitor, the computer system. Basically, this is the monitor that the paramedics would put on a patient to monitor their heart, possibly send this to the hospital for the doctors to review while they're out in the field. And also, this machine also defibrillates patients that are not breathing. So that's what that would be. The price for 2 would be $68,000, and that would be $34,000 a piece from each city. And we did get two estimates, and they were both within like $100. So that was the number 1 priority. Number 2 was personnel, and I asked the board if we could apply for a grant. It's called a SAFER grant, and that would be 3 additional firefighters. And with this grant, if we would receive it, we have to have the paperwork in by Friday. If we would receive this, we would get 3 firefighter paramedics. They would be paid for the first 2 years, and then we would have to pick the price up after that. So I did get the green light from the fire board last night to go ahead and apply for that. That has to be in by Friday, that grant, so that will be put in. Number 3 was the renovation of our restroom area. Our firehouse has 2 residential restrooms, and with the amount of people we have, 5 to 8 personnel during the day with Karen and I and Fireman Joe. Sometimes firefighters will have to go over to the city building and use the restroom if one of ours is down. So I think with possibly adding firefighters in the future, this could be something we could look at maybe this year, is to get in there and expand that upstairs bathroom to accommodate more firefighters on duty. We did get 2 bids. One was $60,000, one was $50,000, and we have a Century Construction actually coming in tomorrow at 10:30 to actually give us another bid. That's where we're at with that. And the 4th priority would be apparatus, which is a very big ticket item. We have been applying for grants for a ladder truck or an engine. We did not get this time around. We did not receive that grant, but we're going to keep writing that grant and hopefully get lucky here in the next couple of years to replace that apparatus. So with that, is there any questions?
Mike, I got a couple questions for you.
Okay.
I thought you were saying something. The reason you want, I think it would be best that everybody know that the reason you want 2 defibrillators.
Yes. The state comes in every year. We run a paramedic ambulance life squad. That is a required tool for that medic unit. They come in once a year and inspect our medic unit, and it has to have specific equipment on that, just like a medic has to have his license every year. You have to go to school to keep that up. We want two because we have one medic unit providing service for 2 cities. And like today, it happened a couple of times where that medic unit goes out on a run and a second run comes in. Well, the fire truck is equipped with paramedics also. It has the same equipment the medic unit has, except a cot. So they can get there, monitor the heart, defibrillate, they carry drugs. So they're basically, it's a second squad, but we don't transport with the fire truck. So, and also, if that one unit would go down, we could pull that second defibrillator from the medic unit. If we only had one, we would have to take the medic unit out of service.
How long do these defibrillators last? Or how often do we have to replace them?
Doing some research, I wasn't really sure, and after looking, it's 5 years.
5 years.
We're going on almost 8 years.
So ours is 8 years old, so.
I mean, it's still, the unit still works, but we're finding out with all the upgrades to the units that the software is unable to be upgraded. So sending that information to the doctor while the medics are on the scene with a cardiac patient, that doctor in the ER can look and see what that patient's doing and relay message back to the medics in the field and help provide better service to the patient.
And this is the 5-year strategic plan you're going to do. And I guess my question to you is, I know you laid out the five you wanted, the 4 you wanted. And I'm assuming that the defibrillators are the most important thing. That's my assumption.
Yes, I think that would be the most important.
And that could be year 1, and then we could work on year 2, 3, 4, and 5.
And that's up to the cities,
Okay.
the board.
Okay.
I was asked to put this together, and what I feel what is needed the most, and I would definitely put the monitors first. The personnel, if that comes, it's a tier that we do not have to pay on, which we can accommodate the bathrooms. I feel at the time,
Mike,
within that time.
What would be the 5-year cost for the next 3-year cost for the 3 employees? Do you have that?
I do. For 3 firefighters, you're looking at 201.
Per year?
Per year.
Per year.
But that's $105. That's $100,000 for Dayton, $100,000 for Belmont. Correct.
And that would be the 3rd year you would pick that up.
And that would bring us up to the NFPA standard 17 test,
Yes,
which we're currently below.
yes.
Will you explain why the 3 firemen, our situation requires 3? Each shift, what we were talking about last
Well,
night.
we have 5 on shift. We have 2 on the medic unit, and we have 3 on the truck. A lot of times during the day, when the medic unit's out, we're down to 3 firefighters covering 2 cities. And with Grants Park, with Water's Edge, with Harbor Green, I mean, you've got a lot of bigger structures being built. I think it's now time to look, especially with the Dayton flow wall starting to get bigger and the amount of people that are going to be moving in. And, we're having a hard time right now covering 2 cities. If we do have a full rest, there's a lot of times the medics will pull that other paramedic from the engine, which will take us only down to 2 firefighters covering 2 cities. And it takes 1 firefighter to stay outside to operate the apparatus. So you're looking at one guy, say, on Water's Edge going to the 7th floor. It's not going to happen. The 8th floor by himself in a smoke-filled building with people possibly trapped, waiting for Newport or Fort Thomas to get here. That's usually anywhere from 7 to 10 minutes, depending on where they're at, where they're coming from. So we wait for that now with the medic unit, and that's why we run that fire truck out to get a quick response there to start administering some kind of first aid or the ALS skills until Fort Thomas or Newport can get down here. With that extra manpower on the engine, we would still run 2 out, but overdoses, shootings, stabbings, cardiac arrest, that engine rolls with the medic unit, and they always pull another person off the engine to go. At least that truck will have come back with at least 3 people on there to cover both cities instead of only having 2. Does that kind of answer the question a little bit?
That, and also, Mike, I think Jerry might have been looking for the answer. Why are we looking to hire 3, not 1?
Oh, okay.
Well,
That's a good question, yeah.
But I mean, it's...
Right.
Right, with hiring 3, that'll put 1 on per shift. There's 3 shifts, if everybody understands how we work it. We work 24 and then on 48. So you have 5 on 24 every day. And that would add an extra on instead of having 1 shift with 6 and 2 with 5. So.
Another key thing that I took out of the meeting last night, Mike, was that you are going to apply for this grant, and hopefully we get it, but there is possibilities you won't get it, that you could reapply.
Yes.
But what you're trying to do is put the cities, both cities on notice that we need to start looking at more personnel on our fire departments.
Yeah, I feel that's very important, and a member actually did want us to look into our surrounding cities in Campbell County, and we are the second busiest in Campbell County, and we have the least payment on duty. So that was a fact that the board was asking for, that we provided for them also. Newport has 2 medic units, Central Campbell has 3, Alexandria has 2, and a chase car, medic car. And again, you're looking at departments that are making 800, 900, maybe 1,000 runs. We're pushing almost 2,000 a year. So it's needed. I think it's going to, in the future, provide the best service to our community and our visitors. So I think now is the time to start looking at it and start preparing.
Chief, if I may, since we weren't allowed to ask questions last night at the meeting, first off, I want to say it's great that you put a 5-year plan together. I think every department in the city needs to do that by the end of this year. Police department has needs, Public Works has needs, the city clerk's office has needs. I think being able to plan beforehand for these expenses is very critical. And I think with the defibrillator and the bathroom renovation, if we can fit that into the next fiscal year budget, once we have the numbers, I think it's great to have that information in advance. One thing I did not see in your 5-year plan was much about the facilities. Now, my understanding is the LLC pays a $1 a year lease to the city of Dayton for the building, correct?
Correct.
Do you think the building is sufficient for what you foresee as an expansion of the fire department, equipment-wise and personnel-wise?
It's a good question. I think the bones are good. We just need to upgrade what's inside of the structure.
I mean, you've only got so many square feet.
Exactly, and unless you see putting 10 people on the next 15 years, I think we're good where we're at, unless you want to build me a new firehouse.
Well, and that's where I'm getting at.
I'm all about that.
I think in your long-term planning, you need to take a look at that.
Right.
And not only the property, but the type of building you'll need.
Right.
I mean, you're talking about adding ladder trucks and squints and everything. You'd have to look at a bigger facility, I would think.
The building that's added on to the original firehouse was built to house the bigger apparatus. So if we would replace the area, that new area would fit into that spot. And actually, I would look into actually getting a smaller area to maneuver throughout our streets easier. Again, there's still roof issues that needs to be addressed that I'm looking hopefully this year to address. Garage doors are old. I can see maybe a year or 2 left on some of the garage doors that are going to have to be replaced. And I do not have an amount of that.
Well, I understand you can't foresee all the building maintenance. I'm talking about the building itself. Do you think that building is sufficient for a 5-year plan?
I do.
Okay. The second question I had was on the grants, just so there's no misunderstanding on this. And I got a little bit of a mixed message last. But first off, the extra money that we pay to the fire department every year, the $32,000?
36. That
$36,000?
goes for equipment only. That goes for light squads, fire trucks, that type of equipment. That's all it goes for.
Could that be used for the defibrillators?
No, it goes strictly for the fire trucks, ambulance, so on and so forth. And it's an ongoing.
So only vehicles, basically?
Correct, yes, correct.
Even though the defibrillator is equipment on the ambulance?
Correct, that's correct.
Okay, just wanted to make that clear because that question came up. The second thing is on the grants. With adding the 3 head count, and your estimate was just, let's say 200 a year. And the grant would pay for the first 2 years, 200,000, correct?
Correct.
Bellevue and Dayton combined equally, 50-50, would be responsible for retaining that head count for how many more years?
Till forever.
Okay, if in year 4, one or both of the cities doesn't have the money to do that, and we have to lay off a firefighter, God forbid, it's my understanding we would have to pay back the first 2 years?
Within the first 2 years, when you're not paying, if you would lay off, say Say we get to 3 firefighters,
Okay.
and in, say, 18 months, we decide to lay off. We have to pay that money back to FEMA.
After the 24 months is up, what is the liability to the city?
After the 3rd year, if you lay off, you'll be fined. So basically, starting the 4th year, you can do whatever you want.
So in the 3rd and 4th year, again, just covering the cities, because we're going to have to come up with 100 grand apiece in 3 and 4 years.
We have a
What is the
copy-
penalty that we would have to pay?
That's up to FEMA, I'm not sure.
Explain that to us a little bit. You give them the 1st and 2nd year, they pay it. And then we pay for the beginning of the 3rd year, we start paying their salary. Is that correct?
Correct.
But the 3rd year is the only one that we're on, say, on the hook that we're gonna get fined for.
You're going to get
After
fined,
the-
the way I understand, you're going to get fined in the 3rd year. If you lay off within its first 2 years, you have to pay back what FEMA paid into their salaries.
Understood.
Okay, with the salaries, it doesn't include overtime. So our department, in my budget, I had to budget in whatever I would think their overtime, three people would be for the first 2 years.
But if you do lay them off, then you'll lose the opportunity for the grant in the future.
That's been the history of people that have done this, that has laid off. You probably will never get another grant. We also looked into hiring one. We looked into hiring 2. And with talking with other departments and people that have applied, the chances of getting are the more you ask for. If you ask for 1 or 2, you're probably not going to get it. 3 and up. 3 and 6 are the hot number, it seems like, where you're going to get granted this grant.
One of the misconceptions that I have, Michael, is that we say that FEMA is going to pay the salary. And the fact of the matter is, that's just one aspect of it. When you start putting all the benefits in there, that it's not sits at 100,000, it goes to 110,000.
Everything's covered in the first 2 years.
That's everything?
Everything.
That's,
In that 3rd year, we pick up everything.
what about overtime and everything?
Overtime, we have to pay for.
Okay. And all the benefits,
And the 201 number for year 3 and 4 that would cost to continue to maintain them included.
Right.
Everything as well.
No, I'm still not clear. It's only, because this is a liability that the cities are going to have to carry in year 3 and 4, that we would have to maintain that head count in year 3 and 4, or,
To the end of 3, and then it's all ours.
oh, till the end of the 36 months. I'm sorry, I misunderstood last night. I thought it was 40.
And I have a copy, I didn't bring it tonight, but I have, Fire, you're more welcome. It explains the whole SAFER grant,
That'd be
everything.
great. And it's strictly because the cities will be on the hook for the,
I understand that, but you got development on that riverfront right now. Bellevue's developed, they did not add any people for that. And River Point was put in, no additional, Grand Park was put in, and we're gonna do a development down on that river with, God only knows how many people, what they're talking, what, 2,000 units by the time that thing's finished? Sooner or later, we gotta add at least 1 more person per shift.
I'm trying to be fiscally responsible.
I am too,
know
but I
we
mean-
need
I
the
mean,
man. We need
I don't
the
know any other way
manpower now.
You have to react
this thing.
before, that's proacting, that's what we're thinking about. Proacting as to reacting,
But
which we have done in the
again,
past.
and I'm being proactive by saying we have to budget in 3 fiscal years from now for 100 grand that we're not spending now. That's my point.
Right.
And I was asking if we were absolutely on the hook for year 4 or year 5. That was the basis of my question, Chief.
Yes.
What the liability to the city is running forward.
One question I have also, and adding a 3rd person, is that going to be adding more equipment for that person, or is there more costs that come with adding more people? Obviously, do you need more equipment for that individual person?
Well, they would get their uniforms.
Well, uniforms, but I mean anything past that, looking at major expenses or anything like that? Okay.
I think what it came out to is like 68,000 per man, roughly, am I correct? And it's 3 men, so that's where you come up.
67, right.
Okay, that's right, and that's where you come up with the 210 or whatever it is. Okay? Anybody else got any questions for the chief?
And you are applying for the grant this week?
It has to be in by Friday.
Okay. If you
We've written the grant already, it's ready to go, but we did not want to send anything until we got everybody knew.
Understood. But Bellevue hasn't had their city council meeting yet either on this topic.
And that's why I understand why the cities appoint council people to go on the fire board, to be able to make that decision for them, hopefully, and sit in and discuss things, and they're put on the board to be responsible enough to come back and maybe say, hey, this is, we're with this, or maybe we shouldn't do it, then they would vote no. But last night, they all voted yes, so.
Point taken. if you were awarded the grant, hopefully, because we need the personnel now, if either city would not commit to the $100,000 in the third year, what would be the end result of that, other than not getting the 3 people on
They'd be
board?
paying a lot more than $100,000. I can tell you that much, because they have to pay it all back.
Yeah.
Well, I think you implied, maybe I misconstrued it, that if we are granted a grant, if we are awarded a grant, and if then we don't take advantage of it, that would negatively impact any grant applications in the future.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's my point on that.
And that goes with not only this type of grant, we've had a neighboring city that grant for a vote, and they couldn't match it, and it went to another department. They probably will never get a grant again for the apparatus. So, I mean, it's all the grants down the line. If you accept it, and you can't match it with your matching grants, then you're pretty much done with it. Yeah.
Anyone else?
I met with Mr. Offer today, toward the firehouse, saw the area that he was looking to rehab, went over his 5-year plan with him. Encourage all council members and finance board especially to do so, to understand, what he's asking for and how it would better his department as well as the funding behind that. And I appreciate his time today and encourage everyone else to as well.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Clerk's office, Don.
All I have is, everybody has a copy of the financial. If they have any questions, give me a call. And of course, I'll be happy when we finally make the decision to hire somebody, and hopefully by Friday.
It's getting close.
Getting close.
Anthony, Main Street.
Before I begin my official report, I would like to introduce Caitlin Banks. Caitlin is the executive chef of Kate's Catering from Cincinnati, who is looking to expand her growing business. Recently, Caitlin and her catering company purchased the property at 702, 704 6th Avenue, or the former St. Vincent de Paul's retail store. Caitlin purchased the building back in late January and is currently working with her contractor to make the corner space a suitable working space for her established business. So with that, I'll turn it over to Caitlin and let her introduce herself.
First of all, I want to take a moment and thank the council for taking a moment out of their meeting to let me introduce myself and my business. Like Anthony said, my name is Caitlin Banks and I'm the chef owner of Kate's Catering and Personal Chef Services. I'm currently established in Anderson on the other side of the river, but I'm expanding to Dayton. I'm very excited to do so. My contractor has promised me that we'll be in by mid to late April, so I'm very excited to get started. A little bit about my business. I specialize in a variety of services, including corporate and private dining engagements, weekly meal preparations, which are the personal chef services that I offer. I also offer custom meal planning, culinary event planning, nutrition and dietetic lifestyle advising, and cooking instruction. So I'm hoping that this space here in Dayton will allow me to not only fulfill the services that I already provide my clients, but also build my business. As Anthony said, we have moved into the old St. Vincent de Paul space, and it's a wonderful space for what we were looking to turn it into. So we're hoping that the renovations will go very quickly and smoothly. Once we open, we will include in our services a lunch and dinner takeaway service, which I hope will be utilized by not only the council, but the citizens here in Dayton. So if you have any questions, please feel free, but I look forward to settling in come April.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, I always make donuts. I was making them earlier today, actually.
Caitlin, thank you for speaking, and I think I speak for most when I say that we're looking forward to having you as a neighbor, and definitely looking forward to opening it. So, for my official report, I just have a few updates. Main Street Board met last Tuesday, a regular monthly meeting. 3 out of the 4 committees of the Main Street Board did give a report on their progress towards goals, so that was very productive in meeting our standards required by the state. And it's definitely a large step forward for our program in meeting its incremental goals. We did discuss the annual Easter egg hunt, which will take place on April 4th. That's a Saturday at 1 p.m. at Gillen Park. I would like to thank Kim Townsley for all the hard work. I think she's here today. All the hard work that she's been doing in organizing this is phenomenal, and I really appreciate everything. And I think Donna and Jennifer Sierra both lended a hand to her and the organization of it. So again, thank you all. I look forward to the event for sure. The board also formally recognized the resignation of Jane Hebel as a board member. We did appoint her back in January, but Jane wrote me a formal letter of resignation in January 29th, and I would like the council to entertain a motion to accept that resignation from the board.
So, need a motion?
So be it.
Motion by Bill,
Second.
second by Danny. All in favor?
Aye. Regretfully.
Yes. Of course, we are all very, very sad to see Jane Hebel go. She was a phenomenal volunteer, and she's still on the museum board, so you know she's still putting it together. So we appreciate her as much. As council was made aware, we are unable to present an order this evening for the CCAT program. Given the recent passing of Jack Fisher, Michael and I deemed it necessary to put the program's release date on hold. We just want to make sure that all the policies and procedures of the program are strong. So we still have utmost confidence in the program, and we hope to be presenting you something in early April. I know with speaking with many Northern Kentucky stakeholders, this is an extremely well-received and highly anticipated program. So I look forward to giving you something in April. That concludes my report. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you, Mr. Cato.
Thank you.
Justine, you got anything for the wife?
One thing in particular I wanted to invite you all to, and some of you already know about it. It's our culinary Murner event experience, and two of you have attended it last year at Little Nashville. So I think Mr. Baker and Mr. Neary were in attendance, and it is so much fun. It is a fundraiser to support our YMCA. I'm going to read. I have it on Facebook, so you can get all the details on there too, or just ask me. But it is March 15th, and it is at 4:30, from 4:30 to 7:30, I believe. Tickets are $40 per person. If you get them in advance, and you can do that by, there's a link that you can go on there and reserve tickets, or you can call the Campbell County YMCA, or they are $50 per person at the door. It is so much fun. It's a great way to support our organization. I just had the best time ever. We had a great picture too of all the great representation of Dayton. You guys, I'm serious, like there was like 20 people there, I think, from Dayton, and they made me look so good in front of my the CEO of the YMCA. So I'm looking forward to having as many of you as possible. And I don't know, I'm sure this won't deter you at all, but I'm also approaching Bellevue City Council. Oh, it's at the RIF in Bellevue, at the RIF. And I'm going to approach Bellevue City Council. Jeff Volter, sorry I'm calling you out, I don't know if you're aware, but he is now representing Dayton on our YMCA board. So I'm so excited that we have him here representing Dayton and representing the YMCA. So he will be there, and I'm sure he's contacted some of you, but we're tag teaming and trying to get as many people there as possible from Bellevue and Dayton to show their support. So if you have any questions about that, just let me know. Otherwise, all the kids are back in school and in after-school programs and working on homework, and it's been fun.
Thank you, Justine.
That was a fantastic event last year. $40 is a bargain for the amount and the quantity of food the quality of food that you get. So hope to see everybody there.
Good deal.
And I'm sorry, Justine, are they going to do the fundraiser, the baskets and the raffles and everything again?
Yeah, yes, they're going to do raffles, and we are still taking donations as far as if anybody wants to do raffles, maybe any local catering companies that are coming in if they want to offer.
Welcome to Dayton.
I don't know all the information, so.
That's why we love her.
feel at home already.
Do you have any communications on?
No, I don't.
No communications. Standing committee reports. Finance?
Yes, we're looking to have a finance meeting Friday, 1:30, to look over the budget and then also talk a little bit of what the fire department was talking about tonight. That's all.
Public safety, Member Gifford?
Yes, we had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and we're going to attend the Block Watch program, which is on the 9th of March. We had Chief Half-Hill and Mike Autry, Mike Lenz, and 2 of the council members, Joey Tucker, myself, and we're going to just kind of hang in there with them and find out what's going on. We've got some ideas, but it's their program, so we're just going to be a part of it.
You know where it's at and what time it is?
It's at the Baptist Church at 7 o'clock.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Public Works, Mr. Burns?
Rick's not here tonight. I don't have a report, but I just want to make a public thank you to Rick, Johnny, Herman, and Don's not here tonight. I don't know if your citizens know this, but our streets are one of the cleanest streets in the Northern Kentucky area. I've got numerous calls from various cities saying, why can't our streets be like your streets? Well, it's because we got 4 great guys. We're losing Don, so I'm not leaving him out. But if you see Rick or Johnny or Herman or Don on the streets, tell them great job. I mean, they do an outstanding job. So I want to make the public announcement to them.
Anything else?
No.
Thank you. Parks and Real Estate, Member Tucker.
The only thing I have, I've been meeting with Ron Kinman at the school about the status of our fields, our baseball and softball fields, trying to get them ready for the high school season that'll be starting in March. We did get some quotes, meeting with some different contractors to see what kind of work will be needed to go into them, get them ready. At this time, now that we have a park board, I'd say we should probably let that go to them and let them decide where they want to go, and I can get all this information to them when they meet.
Their regular meetings is the 1st and the 3rd Monday? Monday. So they could have a regular meeting on the 15th, I believe it is. Is that the Monday?
It might be the 16th.
It's
I think you're right.
The 16th.
The 16th. Or you could bring a special meeting, but you'd have to advertise that. So you want to come in on the 16th on that meeting?
The only thing, if they wait that long, they're going to be getting to when baseball is starting.
I understand that.
Baseball, first game is this Saturday. I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean,
I don't think it's
so
gonna
the sooner the better, but whenever they want to get in there, I guess.
All right, let's have it the 16th, and then we'll find a place, and I'll get a hold of you, and then we'll get a hold of them, and we'll pick a place, but let's figure on the 16th at 7 o'clock somewhere.
All right.
All right? You got anything else, Joe?
No, that's all I have.
Personnel loan printing, Member Neary.
Well, obviously with the passing of Jack, getting this all checked out has been put on hold until we get a new city attorney. As I showed Mr. Edge tonight, there are at least a few things we found already that have to be corrected. Had a brief meeting with the committee last night, discussing some personnel issues. One thing I talked about the last time, Michael, I asked you to investigate the cost of putting this behemoth online. Have you? I know you've been slammed. I know it's been crazy. Have you had any kind of an estimate on that?
In order to get it up, there's a one-time $700 fee, well, $695. And then to host it yearly, it comes out to $690. And they host it on their website. You can create a link to that. I've seen some of the cities that employ their business for that. But I was actually speaking with Tom this afternoon, and I'm not saying that he's volunteered to do it, but he said that he thinks there's a way that we may be able to effectively PDF it. You know, there are some obstacles we've run into with our website, but I think there's a way that we can PDF it so that it's clear, concise, and searchable. That was always one of my concerns, is if we had to break it into so many different segments, it's hard to find a particular ordinance that you're looking for if you have 4 or 5 different documents. What we'll do is, you have the quote of what it would cost yearly. It's around $700. But I think we could maybe look into a way to PDF it at much, much lower cost, and obviously no hosting fee. So we'll look into both, but that is your answer is it's about $700 a year to have that up and running.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make sure that this is a line item in our budget coming into the fiscal year next year, moving forward. Everybody, 95% of the people look up stuff online, and I think it would serve the public well to have this online. So if you could include that in the proposed budget.
Yeah, we'll see where, we'll get Tom's idea and see where we're at with that, and then we can put it in according to what the fee will be. All right?
That'd be great. And then I intend to meet with the code enforcement, traffic enforcement, and the Board of Adjustments. I know the BOA has some new members on it to see what ordinances they need me to red flag so that we can review them in the future. That's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you. Economic Development, Member Baker.
Yeah, we've been meeting a lot with local business owners as well as some community leaders to discuss the CCAP that has been put off till April. It's been very well received all the way up to the immediate past chair of the Northern Kentucky Chamber, who called it aggressive and innovative. So it's pretty good stuff that we're looking forward to working with. So both prospective businesses have been meeting with me as well as current businesses. And on behalf of the Economic Development, we'd like to welcome Caitlin to our Main Street. And long may you serve me food.
As long as you pay for it.
Oh, it's in my budget. That's it. All right.
Mr. Mayor, on that CCAP, because of the delay here, that I presume we will have the first reading.
I forgot to mention, the police cruisers are going to be starting to see new police cruisers around town with a new striping package. It will be the traditional green and black to represent the city and the school. We're going to start our first car will be March 9th. So you'll start to see the new cars out. They will have light bars, and I'm real proud of the design. It really shows off the city. So
Chief, will all the cars be
all the cars will be.
Thank you, sir.
One thing, talking about policing and that, we got Park Citation Board. We have an appointment of Nancy Martin. Her term will expire December 2016. Sorry about that, I missed you on that. Okay, now it's time for audience participation, petitions. You want to speak?
I asked the chief about the defibrillators down at the schools, what I was questioning, and he gave me an answer on that. So,
Can you say you're good?
The only other thing I would like to ask is with Jerry about the track that he mentioned last meeting to go around the Y. What is the outcome on that?
I haven't really gotten any feedback from any of the council members. I assume you all got a copy of it, or not? So it's open for discussion.
Still open for discussion. Because that's a pretty good idea there, so.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Kathy?
I just have couple of things. One being on the little library. Probably a week before Jack passed, he emailed me information on it and agreed it was okay to go with, and that the ordinance would be written after the fact, and he said it would be okay to do. And I did suggest at that time to check with Bellevue because they had issues with it in road ordinance in accordance. So I will forward those emails to Michael.
Please.
That way you have it for the record. And I just did want to say that as a council member and as a personal friend of Jack Fisher, we have lost a great friend, a great resource, a great mind, and somebody who loved the city and his family, just a gentleman. I never heard Jack talk badly of anybody. Professional to the max, honest, and his decisions were based on either by the law or there was no gray in how he came out on things. From a personal standpoint, he's just been a wonderful, well-meaning friend, traveled the world. He loved his wife and his kids and his grandkids. And probably, none of our grandkids have been able to travel like they have. They just showered them with so much attention and education of the world. And the best thing anybody could do to remember Jack, to memorialize him, would be to make a donation, as the family suggested, to the Dayton High School Scholarship Fund, because he probably would be delighted in seeing in May the kids that would be getting scholarships to go to college in his name.
Thanks, Brady. Well put. Thank you.
I think that one of the greatest things that we could do to...
Hold on a minute. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm Joe Fisher, Jack's brother, and I want to thank the city of Dayton on behalf of his family for the attention that you gave him, that the EMS folks gave him two Mondays ago when he died. He loved this city, as indicated. He was city attorney for this city for about 35 years, I believe. And I can't tell you how dedicated an attorney he was for this city. He loved this city. Right after college, he made his home in this city. He went to law school after that and became city attorney, and he was very proud of the city of Dayton and the progress, the city that he saw over the past 35 years in this city. So we just wanted to, on behalf of the family, we wanted to thank you for your support of Jack over the years. And I just wanted to assure the council that we are going through Jack's files, that we want to make whatever transition you have as seamless as possible. So if your city clerk has any questions, I will give her my cell phone number. We will be looking through his files and getting them to you as expeditiously as possible. I currently serve in the state legislature. We are completing our session here on Monday, so I will be more available to you all to take care of that transition. So again, on behalf of the family, the best thing you can do is donate your time, treasure to the Dayton High School Scholarship Fund. That is something that he and his wife Louise greatly support, and I thank you again.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Captain. Bill, your turn.
I attended the last planning and zoning meeting, and I know you were there as well, so I'll kind of direct this kind of towards you so I can get some clarification on it. One of the board members made a motion to postpone voting on a proposal until the following month, when all board members will be present there for the planning and zoning board. 2 members were present this evening, but there were 6, I'm sorry, they were absent. Two members are absent this evening, but there were 6 other board members present. The vote was passed to postpone till the following month. This was done before the presenter could give the presentation of what they were voting on. This proposal was being presented by DCI, and an engineer took the time to make it to this meeting. The gentleman had to assert himself later in the meeting to say, at least, let me give my presentation. Upon actually hearing the presentation, the board could not give reason for wanting to postpone other than to say it was because the entire board should be there to vote. In the end, a motion was passed to do a recall on the motion and vote, and then the new plan was voted yes unanimously. First of all, I just want to say, who's responsible for the meetings and the way they're run?
You got a chair. I mean, it's planning and zoning. It's set up with, I believe, 7 members, a chair. They vote on their own chair, and I mean, the planning and zoning board is the planning and zoning board. I mean, you know, it's the same like the board of adjustments and all the other boards that are set up through the city.
Jim, if I may, maybe I can clarify. I was not at the meeting, but obviously we're aware of what happened and how it kind of played out. Mayor's right. The meetings are run by an appointed chair. Obviously, the planning commission of the city is our citizen members. I think one thing to keep in mind in this situation is we have there are some existing members on that board, but there are also some new members on that board. It's one of our priorities to try to offer them as much training opportunities as possible. It's not only a requirement, but something obviously that's very necessary for continuing education so they know how to properly handle their role. Obviously, being citizens with lives and jobs, it's difficult sometimes, especially if they're new members, to get them completely brought up to speed at the very beginning. So I think some of the issues that came up were the fact that you were seeing a new board that's still getting adjusted to that role. One of, I think, the great things of having Campbell County act as an extension of our office is that they do come with a lot of experience, whether it's Cindy Minter, the director, or Ryan Hutchinson, one of their head planners. And I'm glad that while it may not have been the smoothest process, I think the end result was, regardless of the vote, worked out the flow of the way that it was supposed to ultimately end up. We had a conversation actually just today with Campbell County about how we move forward and make these meetings a little bit more, make them flow a little bit better as far as who's in charge of the meeting, reiterating who's in charge of the meeting, reiterating who's there to take minutes, making sure that we get all that stuff out properly. One of the things they brought up that may lend some assurance to kind of what happened, and to the board's credit, they wouldn't have been aware of it at the time, but there is a law that's been put into place that forbids almost the ability for them to table something if they have a quorum. So, if they're uneasy because maybe a member that's been on the board for a long time, for whatever reason, can't make that meeting, it's not a good enough excuse to table a proposal, which is ultimately the truth that came out and that was known to the board, and that's ultimately, I think, why the tabling was undone. So really, it's up to us, and it's up to them for us to offer them training opportunities, and then it's up to them to actually accept those training opportunities. Some of the members did get some early this January, but as they come up, we try to send them out as much as possible because they are citizens, and that's really the only opportunity that they have to grow and learn. So I think some of the bumpiness was due to the fact we've got some new members on there. Not all of them are new, but some of them are new, and there was just, I think, some hesitation because some of the veteran members may not have been present, but that may help shed some light on it.
It's just, the timing seems so critical to just the town of Dayton in particular.
Very much so.
With everything that's going on with the development, the potential of new entrepreneurs coming in. They find out that our planning and zoning board is being run like that. I mean, that's going to scare some people off, I would think. If I was to be aware of that, it would be.
I think we'll iron that out, though. I really do. I think that wasn't the most pleasant meeting I ever sit through. I agree, but I think it's issues that we can iron out.
Yeah, I'm hopeful of them being ironed out. I just want to bring it to the attention. So if I can't be the only person that was a little alarmed by that.
But like you said, we were down to planning and zoning today and talked to them people down there, and when this issue was brought up, and we talked about it.
Okay. And the other thing is, I was accused of not adhering to Robert's rule, and I asked the late Jack Fisher about Robert's rule. Is that something that we are applying to or subscribe to or not? Because I actually went and got very familiar with it, and I don't see that our meetings, especially that planning and zoning meeting, was held anywhere close to Robert's rules.
You did ask the attorney here. We're going to use him on this one.
Most cities, most planning and zoning committees do not abide by Robert's rules. City of Highland Heights, being an example, used to have a fury of these Robert's rules arguments. So most meetings are run very, very loosely based off of Robert's rules, but don't adhere to them. Whenever a city does get into that, usually you end up in more of a trap of motions for votes and motions to have longer discussions, etc. So most cities and most planning and zoning boards run them very loosely. So it's a little disturbing. I don't know who said that. I wasn't in attendance at the meeting.
Well,
but there's, unless it's usually in an ordinance or something on how that's a meeting's going to be conducted, usually it's just very, very loosely.
Well, just not even for myself, it's for clarification for everyone else who attends a meeting that can feel comfortable going to the meeting itself, because the Robert's rules, there's a lot of them. That's a lot to, that we don't, I've never seen them.
I think he's pretty well answered that question, that basically we don't.
Yeah, okay.
Sort of, but don't.
There needs to be a process
That's
to it,
basically what
obviously.
it is.
Conformity, consistency, and that's something that we want to address going forward,
No,
especially with
no,
relatively
I see
new board.
that.
We set forward the expectation at least
No.
that there's some general conformity of how and when certain things should take place.
Also, how does someone become a planning and zoning board member? Is there a prerequisite for understanding anything?
When an opening comes available, if somebody's interested, they approach the mayor, and the mayor appoints with approval of council. Okay?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Anyone else? Elmer?
You need me?
No, Elmer.
Hi, everybody. My name is Elmer Perry. This coming Friday is the reality store. Now, some of you have never been there before. I would like to give a personal invitation to anybody who wants to come. I know Bill will have a station, and now you say, well, what can I do other than just walk around? We could call you a roamer. We find a table. We got some bad weather coming in. There might be some of the stations not filled. So if you're a roamer, we'll put you on that station. You don't have to have be a brain surgeon to run it, but there'll be about 18 or 19 stations. Sorry, Bill. Anyway, I would like for you to come and do a cameo appearance if you can. Mayor, I'd like to see you there and really see what's happening. And also our new chief, I'd like to see him there, see what's going on at the high school. It's really, you'd be surprised how serious these kids are about this reality store. I have the last station, I've had them come to me crying, Mr. Perry, I can't get on the plus side. And I would tell them what to do. I says, get rid of that Mercedes-Benz and go get a Pinto. Or don't have a car at all. Take a bus. But anyway, they really take this program serious. We'll have the juniors and the 8th graders there. So it's Friday morning, the cafeteria opens at 8. There'll be a continental breakfast until 9. There'll be a few speeches made telling what the program is about. And the program starts at 9. And I think you'll probably be out there by 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock. It all depends on how big the classes are. I know that 8th grade class is kind of small. But anyway, try to make it if you can. This Friday, cafeteria opens at 8, program starts at 9. And if you can't stay, just come down and walk around and see what's going on at Dayton High School. And remember, the museum's open the 2nd and 4th Saturday of the month, and we're open from 10 to 2. And now if you got any old memorabilia or pictures you want to get rid of, we're there every Thursday from 9 to 12. So come down and bring anything you want to get rid of. It's a picture of this, or a picture of Grandpa or something that has a story here. We're there every Thursday from 9 to 12, and we're open to the public from 10 to 2. Hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin?
A couple things. One said with a little bit of sarcasm, but nonetheless, there's a little fact involved here. Chief Autry, just a question. You can't seem to find room for a real park. How are we going to find room for a new firehouse? Because there apparently is not much land available for anything.
Talking to Mike. I can't hear you.
I'll say it again. If realistically, it's being somewhat sarcastic, but there's a real fact behind it, is that if we can't seem to find room for a flat park to replace the flat park we've had on the riverfront, I hope to God we never need to find room for a firehouse, because there's no place to put it. Now, at some point, that's probably going to be inevitable, but for the sake of being proactive, I would like to kind of again remind or nudge, whatever it's going to take, those of you who have the opportunity to have input to try to get, sorry Virgil, that one block of Urban Terrace into a two-way situation, because with the impending construction and all of the vehicles that are going to be moving to Manhattan Harbor to do work, it's going to make the little neighborhood between O'Fallon and Berry, north of the avenue, it's going to get harder and harder to get out of the neighborhood. And unfortunately, we do have to leave from time to time. So if there is any input that can be provided to try to get another access point out without being T-boned, it would be very helpful.
You don't need to apologize to me for that because I don't really care one way or the other.
Well, then you can come over to the dark side and try to do something about it then. The other, I guess, unrelated topic is, Chief, you said something about requesting another sergeant. Is that what I understood you to say?
No, we changed, we were a little bit too top heavy. Changed the position of a captain back to a sergeant.
Good.
So we have more supervisors on the street.
I was kind of hoping we weren't shooting for another officer, to the extent that how many can you possibly supervise with a department this small, and how many sergeants should there be? So that was the other question. And last but not least, I'm very supportive of the opportunities and the direction that Main Street is going in and making an effort to drive business into the city. Just as kind of a educational process for me, I've been here 10 years, but I still can learn a lot about what all has transpired in the past and what hopefully can go into the future. Main Street is necessary, it is vital, but there's a whole lot more city out there than just Main Street. And I guess the question is was there not at one time a civic organization that was separate from but coexistent with Main Street, and what happened to it? Where are they?
I can answer that question for you.
Cool.
A couple years ago, before I came in, I think Michael was Main Street manager. Civic Club wasn't getting enough volunteers. And the Main Street was also struggling with volunteers. They merged the two groups together, and we've even been in the process of transitioning the two missions and visions of the two different programs to, support the city as a whole and the Main Street program. So.
Okay, so given the fact that you are director of Main Street, then clearly that's your focus, that's your directive, as it should be. So who or what is directing anything to support endeavors outside of the Main Street?
We have to do that. That was wrong. I'm sorry. We need a civic league. It has nothing to do with the Main Street, very little, and it's not your call. I understand. We've had a civic league in this city for years and years, and I think it's time that we look at it again.
But they came to us several years.
I'm not talking to you, Jennifer.
But I'm just telling you, they came to us and they asked us to.
Okay, we're talking about something here that we're going to try to redo. So we will get volunteers, and I will be a part of that organization.
I totally support you. If another group wants to get together and create another organization to open up for the entire city and then kind of work with me and the Eagles and the school district, and if we want to add another group, I know Bellevue has another group. I'm perfectly open to that. I have no problem. I would love to share the wealth of responsibility. So yeah.
Well, I think it speaks to the fact that if we are and we inevitably are going to be having an influx of additional people into the city, I think it's also important, not just for the sake of the new development, but also for those of us who really do want to contribute and want to have input and feel that we count in addition to activities directed toward Main Street. And although that's your central business district, the reality is the bulk of us who live here are part of the business district.
But the thing of it is, we got other things going on. It's not just the Main Street. The Main Street need to be looked at. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
I don't disagree with that.
We still got parts, the Grand Park still being built, River Point still being built, there's still buildings going on it, and we got the whole riverfront. So we are looking at all that stuff. We just hired a new blight inspector to go after as much blight as we possibly can. We probably got the strongest person we could possibly get to do this job, to try to clean up the rest of this community. So it's not like we're just targeting Main Street to make it Main Street beautiful. We're going after the whole city.
I agree with that, but can I point out just a minor detail?
Go ahead.
Please. There are legal definitions for blight in the state of Kentucky, and more importantly in this area. And if one listens to some of the verbiage occasionally, the impression is given that the city is blighted. It is not, statistically or really. And I guess what I'm saying is that if you look at the property valuation records and the conditions that are so listed, as well as doing a visual of neighborhoods, the word blight is very specific. And we use that term way too loosely in terms of blight inspector. It's code enforcement. There's a difference. Just saying.
Can I make just a really quick comment?
Thank you for your input.
Just back to the issue about making Urban Terrace two ways. There is a light at Urban. There's no light at the other places where we try to get out. And I'm telling you, when I try to pull out in the mornings, I can only see about 30 feet and people come roaring down that. So if we could have that as a two-way street on Urban, just if we can. it'd be
I have
great.
never had an issue with that one
No,
way or
I
the
mean,
other.
just so
I
we
mean, I
don't drop
really haven't.
that.
I mean, people think because I got my business or I got an
No.
issue with it. I've never had an issue one way or the other. It will not impact me one way or the other. Really, it'll get me home a little bit quicker.
Well, no,
I go to the lights and I have to go down a couple blocks.
I didn't necessarily think you had an issue with it. I just
No.
don't want us to drop it. I really.
Well, I did never want to push it one way or the other because I was on council. It made it look like it was something that I wanted.
I think we have to look at all the streets down
What if you put a stop
here.
sign up there and say oncoming traffic does not stop? Would that cause a lot of accidents, you think, or?
Where are you talking about?
Right there by your garage.
You can't get rid of the light.
There's a light there, so you can't.
No, the lights are up a little bit. It doesn't
No, but the light
actually-
is right at that intersection. If you pull out that intersection, there's a light there.
And because
Could we
it's
change
state
it to a two-way street then?
You would have to move the light, you'd have to move the light. The traffic department, the state traffic department.
And they're not gonna, because it's a state highway, they're not just gonna move around. We talked with the transportation department about some possible options, and they more or less said if you move a light and take it away, you're not gonna get it back in any other place.
Because I've tested that way, and that would be a great way.
But honestly, we just have to change the light because it turns red for people going this way. We could get out. We could turn right on, we could just turn right when they get a red light. Or people coming this way, we can watch for them easier than watching everybody coming, so.
You want to say something?
One thing, I don't think anybody's ever said anything, but the mirror that was put up by Circle K, since we come out of that street 3 or 4 times a day now, that is a big help.
The what is the mirror?
The mirror.
You all are finding it helpful?
Yeah, well, I don't know if the wind,
If it's
if it's adjusted.
Right.
If
Yeah,
it's
I-
adjusted, yeah.
It's
It's not always.
Most of the time, it's not adjusted right.
It has moved since it jumped in.
But when it is adjusted properly, you're finding it with
Yeah,
official.
it works really well.
Jennifer?
It's easy to watch it now.
I just want to address the thing. I've sat on the Main Street for, I guess, 5 years or something with Joe and Ben. And we were approached several years ago from the Civic Club because they were struggling about like joining forces with us. And volunteership in this town was drastically down. It's improving, but it's, I think that I'm the chairperson now for the Main Street Association, and our responsibilities, our goals as the Main Street really are it's the economic development of the Central Business District. But, I mean, since we absorbed the Civic Club, we've been taking on like Fall Fest and other civic events so that those things don't die off. And Donna was part of it and her mom, and I mean for years they have worked tirelessly among other families in town to really help keep that alive. But it's like the same families were coming to help, and year after year, and donating their time and money. And after a while, I mean, you really get burned out on it. So that's really what happened. But we struggle, but we try to at least have 3 or 4 events a year to keep that, civic system
And I
alive.
value that. I just think that there may be an opportunity to
Hold on.
tap into.
Hey, she's talking. Go ahead.
No, I mean, it's, that's all I needed to say. I just wanted to clarify it so that people didn't think that we were forgetting that part of it. And, if someone does reform the Civic Club, that would be great because it would take a lot of the responsibility off of our plates. I mean, we're really wanted to focus on the Main Street. So that would be awesome.
Okay.
Jerry, are you volunteering to head that up?
I was on it it lasted a long time. It hasn't been 5 years. We just have to go out and.
No,
get
all I
access.
know was before. but
Right, it's been a
yeah.
long time, so,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll take care of that.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Unfinished business? Any unfinished business?
Mayor, I got a couple phone calls from a couple different citizens, and with the bad winter we've had this year.
Is this unfinished or new business?
It's new business, I'm sorry, sir.
Any other unfinished business? Okay, new business?
Actually, on the unfinished business and to address the issue with the traffic down in the northwest corner of the city, Michael and I had been discussing it, and I think we do need to do, I brought it up before that we need to do traffic studies. As I said to Chief Halfhill, if you're heading east from that corner of town.
What do you mean by that corner? What area are you talking about?
Bordered from, let's say, McKinney over to O'Fallon and north of 6th.
Okay.
Because that is the problem area to get out onto 6th Street that we always discuss. From that area of town, the only way to go east safely, you have to go through that 400 block of 4th Street, which is really narrow. So I think we do need to look at not only is it feasible for two-way on Irvin, but also maybe changing some of the one-ways to two-way. And Michael and I will be working, and Anthony probably will be working on that this spring down there.
There are some traffic studies that we have. It's probably been a year or so since I've read through them. I mean, the big bucks are being spent on those traffic studies, and they have to do one with each particular phase of the development anyway.
Right.
And it's not just an impact on the development area, it's an impact on the city, on Bellevue, on the region in general. So I think a lot of that has already been done. We can go through it and see what it matches up.
I think we need to push it to the forefront is my point.
Okay, but I mean, the studies have been done, so they're available.
Understood.
Okay, all right. Any other unfinished business? All right, new business, Bill?
I've had a couple phone calls, Mayor, about, yes, we've had a bad winter this year, everybody knows that, and I've said it before, that the street guys did a great job at be cognizant of your neighbor. Don't pour, when you shovel their sidewalk, don't pour it in front of their place, or if they're in the alleys, you people got garages in the alleys, that is fantastic, but don't throw it out in the middle because nobody can get through your alley. So let's just be respectful of our neighbors, and let's get through this winter as best we can. We got some coming in tomorrow night, so thank you, Mayor.
Any other unfinished business, please? Yes, ma'am.
I just gave everybody a copy of the information on the Bellevue Dayton Memorial Day Parade, Monday, May 25th, and it'll be the 86 years together. I'd like to just fill out the form and turn it in, so I'm sure Mayor and Council will be walking again.
Unless somebody's gonna ride me, I'll be walking.
And then there's also a list of dates for their meetings, and I'm sure everybody's welcome. March 24th, April 7th, April 21st, May 5th, May 12th, May 19th. They're held at the VFW at 7 p.m. And they would, be happy for anyone to attend.
Donna, we always had in the past a representative, I know it's Mr. Michael at one time.
Michael.
Will he be still attending, or will it be Anthony? I don't care who.
We'll find somebody. I don't know if it'll be either one of them two, but somebody will be going. We'll get somebody to go.
Very good.
I would like to say one thing, Mayor. I meant to address this earlier, but just since he's not here tonight, obviously I said we're hiring a new code director. But I would like to thank Don for his service here, since this would have been his last council meeting. He was very sad when I told him to stay home and rest up for the weather. But I've worked with him for over 5 years now here, and he's been with the city, like I said, for 20 years. And we may do something down the line, but I just want to personally thank him on behalf of myself and our staff for what he's done, both for Public Works and our code department for 20 years. I don't think you'll meet a kinder soul than Don. I think everyone would agree. So thank you to him for his service. We really do appreciate it. That's it.
We don't need another executive session or anything. I need a motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Motion by Bill.
I'll second.
Second by Jody. All in favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Sponsored by Buena Vida Pizzeria. Come get a slice of the good life. Mention this ad and get happy hour drink prices all night.